I spent the last 1.5 years trying to make an AI version of someone, and now I've decided to make an AI version of myself. But before I dive deeper into exactly what it is I'm doing, I've got a question to ask you, which is, what makes you you? Is it your experiences? Is it your beliefs? Is it your personality? Is it the environment that you grew up in when you were a kid and where you are exactly now? If we look up what constitutes you as a person, it's probably many, many different things. Some of those are known and some of those things are unknown. Now, what makes an AI an AI? If you look at all of these LLMs, which stands for large language models such as ChatGPT, essentially what these are is they have been trained on billions and billions of pieces of information. They are essentially prediction machines. Every time you ask ChatGPT a question, it's basically looking at all the data it's ever been trained on, and it's trying to predict what's the most likely thing it should respond with based on your input. But also, in a way, we are somewhat prediction machines. Think about how you wake up and brush your teeth without even thinking about it, or how you greet someone the same way, or you say goodbye to someone the same way. In essence, we are to some degree prediction machines as well. You know, a lot of our behavior is driven by the unconscious mind. But if we say a large part of what makes you is a bunch of experiences that you uniquely have had ever since you were born, and all that experience is essentially just information, who's to say we can't take that information, give it to an AI model, and tell it to be like you? Essentially, what it is I'm trying to say is, if you can take how someone speaks, how someone says hello, how they say goodbye, the slang and abbreviations that they use, the type of language that they use, the actual language that they use. If you take all of these elements and you give it to an AI model as data, then in theory there's no reason to think that you cannot make an AI near indistinguishable from a certain person. But figuring out what information and what data to exactly train an AI model on is the hardest part. And as of now, as of recording this, no one has truly cracked that. Because how can you know for sure that an AI is exactly someone? What is the metric you use to define, okay, this AI is exactly like this person? I call it Enigma, and if you look up the definition of Enigma, it means something mysterious, something complex. And I would say that this type of problem exactly resembles that, because you're never truly going to get it to be like someone. You can only get it as close as humanly possible. Now, how did all of this start? It started around 1.5 years ago when I began to tinker with things like chatbots and a few other softwares and tools, until I came across a video of someone who made a very basic AI version of someone. After watching that video, I asked myself, surely I can make that, and I basically put together a very basic AI version of someone. I then thought that this was a cool idea, and at the time I had no idea how much of an impact this was going to have on the path that I was walking as of that time, but I just basically reached out to loads and loads of influencers, because I figured that they had so much, if they had loads of videos, all of this data could be used to train the AI model. It was a sufficient amount of data to train an AI model. Luckily, one influencer with a large following of 1 million followers and over 1,000 videos was up for me building them an AI version of themselves. And over that 1.5 years, I taught myself to code. I learned machine learning, particularly fine-tuning, and how to fine-tune these base models, these large language models, to mimic and be like someone. And in this case, it was the influencer that I was working with. Now, so far I've trained around 21 different models. I've done hundreds and hundreds of iterations, coming up with different theories, with different prompts, with different ways of generating the data, and I've gotten closer and closer every time, and I came to the realization that in order for me to really know whether or not I can clone someone, is I have to do it with myself, because as we all do, no one knows you better than you know you. No one knows me better than I know me, and by using me as the test case, that's how I think I can truly measure whether or not I've actually achieved what it is I'm trying to achieve, which is to make an AI indistinguishable from someone. Now, you might be thinking, sounds cool, Jay, I don't really care, and this is where I want to dive deeper into what it is this means, you know, because this is a lot bigger than myself. I'm not just trying, some of you will not give a shit about J.AI or who I am, and that's completely fine, but there's probably some people that you do look up to, maybe some YouTubers, maybe some celebrities, maybe some of the greatest minds that have ever existed. You know, I've got this bookshelf here, we've got Steve Jobs here, we've got Richard Branson, there's a few other names here. But the way to see it is, instead of just reading a book about someone or watching a video of someone, imagine being able to ask them a question directly about something something that you're personally experiencing. And hey, if you can make an AI model perfectly mirror this individual, then why not just try and ask that model a question as if you are getting a response from them yourself? And I'll never forget what Arthur C. Clarke once said, which is, any significantly advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. So I know it sounds crazy, but once the smartphone sounded crazy and now everyone's using one. I believe the same is when we figure out how to solve this enigma, when we figure out how to make an AI truly like someone. And so far, every iteration that I've done has gotten closer and closer to making an AI model exactly like someone. So to summarize, I'm building J.AI to prove this concept and then hopefully be able to prove it with others. And if you're interested in AI, in philosophy, in, who knows, self-improvement, I may just share a bunch of different things. The caveat of my channel is every single video that I make will be programmed into my AI. So the more I share about my experiences in AI and things like that, the more this AI will know. And the more it knows, the more data it receives, the better it will be at being able to be like me. Now, as of recording this, J.AI and Enigma isn't ready, and I don't plan it to, because at the end of the day, you don't know who I am, so I need to post more videos and share more insights and things like that. And if you have any ideas or any topics you want me to talk about in AI or anything like that, feel free to drop a comment below. And yeah, I'm in the very early stages of starting this channel, and feedback is greatly appreciated. So yeah, thank you for watching and stay tuned.